fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
All right, welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV in the Raid Super Mart series here tonight at Hickory. I'm Dean D. Set in the booth with me, Baron Labosco. Baron, Hickory, short, bumpy, should be an exciting race.
Good to be back, Dean. Joining you from the great city of Louisville, Kentucky. We're not far from Sparta, where the Kentucky Motor Speedway is at. Great to be back with the Raid Superstock Series. These guys are poised to put on a hell of a show tonight. Hickory, a historic place for racing. Many cup drivers, truck drivers, Xfinity drivers all cut their teeth on this track, Dean. And I'm excited to see what these boys can do.
Yeah, as am I. I mean, it was a exciting and clean race last week, and one of their better events that we've seen. And now with this race, they're going to be put to the test, man. This is one of those tracks. I mean, we got our keys to the race, control, and then control is just it might be controlling your anger tonight, Baron.
Yeah, sure can. And this is a historic track. Lots of bumps on this track, Dean. You're going to see some guys, especially in the early parts of these runs. They're going to be all over the splitters. The front ends are going to be dancing. There's going to be a loose, tight condition with a lot of these cars at this track. Got to have quick hands on the steering wheel to manage that loose, tight condition that are caused by the undulations from this old historic track. Dean, these guys are going to have their hands full, and I'm excited to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, they are going to have their hands full. Brian Cole, of course, your points leader, doing one whale of a job. He's got himself a pretty big lead right now. Werderman, Chase Werderman, that is, in second place. Adam Newton right there in third. Those two, only a couple of points between them. Then you got Marvin Turmeyer Jr., Kaufman, Stephen M., Cole, that's Adam Cole, Pearson, and Keaton Tripp. Keaton Tripp back on the track tonight, so watch out for him. Looks like he's going to be towards the front here. And Tripp, man, he's tough, Baron. You've seen him a few times, and he's going to be tough to beat here.
Sure will, and he's a tough beat at any track now in this series. We see a lot of the players back on the grid this evening. I noticed Austin Miller, last week's winner, he's back. Adam Newton, really an up and coming driver in this series, really showing some promise. Love to get him into victory lane tonight here at Hickory.
Yeah, Newton had a good finish last week. We talk about finishing races, and with guys like Newton and Turmeyer in particular showing a lot of speed, but that it's thinking out a whole race, finishing a whole race, and Newton able to finally come through with I think a couple of good finishes. As you see him third in the points, but we put some pretty high expectations on him. I think he's ready to fulfill them here, Baron.
Agreed. And another driver I'm looking at to maybe break through would be Colin Kennedy. Had some great finishes earlier in the season. Like you said, had some struggles in finishing races, but I think he's really starting to figure out the dynamics of the short track, and he's showing some good finishes. Let's see if we can get him clean to the finish line tonight.
Yeah, Colin Kennedy, definitely another one of those guys. Um, he's been out here and just doing great. The journeyman out here, so to speak. What's the word I'm looking for, Baron? You're the wordsmith around here. The
I can barely
yeoman's work.
smell
What's it?
Smith.
He's out here working hard anyway, and yeah, you're right. I mean, it's another guy. I mean, he's gonna have a breakout race here sooner or later. Of course, the Darts are here. Travis and Bill Dart. They're always going to be good. Really tough field, top to bottom. We also got a rookie out here. That's Mike Lemieux making his debut. I wonder how he's going to fare here this evening.
Yeah, it'd be great to see some new talent. Mike, new to the series, great looking car tonight. Matt Eddy is another new one to the series, another great looking machine in that 88. Some really nice new blood showing up to put some of these old veterans to task here on this great track.
Just waiting for these guys to grid up here as qualifying complete here. You can see Keaton Tripp back on the pole with Brian Cole, the points leader right there. Eddie and Miller in row 2. Those guys were both good. I mean, these top 4 qualify well, race well. Right behind them, Newton and Turmeyer. As Kennedy and Dart, Pearson, Bill Dart, Werdemann, Hines, and Cole going to be your starting lineup. That's your starting lineup before the starting lineup here tonight, Baron.
Well, and as luck would have it, it looks like these guys. I'm really kind of shocked to see Adam Cole running shotgun on the field. Normally, he's a decent qualifier. I wonder if he just missed it.
He may have. He may have just skipped it or missed it. Hard to say for certain what happened there.
Sure, and Stephen M. Coming in solid in that 82. He'll be at the back of the field. Maybe the safest place to be in these early laps.
And you see there, we've already gone through the order here. You can find your favorite driver and where they're starting. As you can start them, you hear them revving those engines up. They're raring to go. I don't know if that's a good sign or bad sign at Hickory. I'm telling you, this place is dangerous. Quirky little corners with those bumps. Hard to see your braking points. Boy, oh boy, these guys are going to be have to be on their game tonight.
Yeah, quick hands on that wheel. Hope they tightened up their steering ratios because it's going to be steer, counter steer all night for these boys. If you've got a guy who's got a solid wheel inside that cockpit, that car is absolutely set up to fly. So watch for these guys to really have their hands full tonight. Some of these drivers are going to come away from their steering wheels, a hot, sweaty mess before it's all over.
Absolutely. Tripp and Cole, be interesting to see here. Haven't talked a lot about the lines. Not overly familiar with the line, but I would imagine you want to be on the bottom here at Hickory.
Yeah, and the fastest way around. The high line is a little deceptive. Nobody will be up there, and some guys will attempt to get up there. And if this is like any other race that we've seen in the past, we can see some of the players get to the high line and get to the front.
Here we go. Green flag drops. Tripp a little slow. Cole gets up beside him here. Got a big run on the outside. Stalls out in the later part of the corner. Tripp going to hold him off here, I believe.
Yeah, side-by-side racing early on, and you'll see some guys here as Adam Newton makes his way through the field. A great pass under the 6 car of Travis Dart.
I hate to cut you, but that's a reverse there. Newton falling back. He got a little loose there and did a nice job controlling that car and keeping it down there, but he lost a few, and he's trying to fend off here and not lose any more.
Yeah, good call there. I thought he was advancing, and that's right. He's moving backwards, and now he's pinned down there.
He's pinned down, but I mean, I'd rather be on the bottom. Back up front, Cole, your new race leader, he beat Tripp there on the outside. So interesting. The outside has prevailed a couple of times here early on.
Yeah, great track. Brian Cole's got himself a nice lead here right now. But we've seen this play before, haven't we, Dean? Keaton Tripp will sit back there and just hound him for the rest of the evening until it's time to go.
We have seen this before, but there's more to talk about. You know, you got Eddie, one of our newcomers. He's been in the mix, at least he was last week, and don't sleep on him. And then it's, what I've coined Mr. Excitement. And we got Colin Kennedy, one of our early guys we talked about. He has spun around here. Looks like he's going to get her pointed the right way and hopefully get by the pace car. Maybe not.
Does he keep it on the lead lap? Boy, we hope so.
I don't think so. He's on the tail end. There he goes. Yes, he's going to be allowed to get by the pace car. So good break for Kennedy there.
Yeah, lucky break. That's really nice to see. Good. We'll keep Colin on the lead lap. Maybe get himself squared away. Let's see what happened.
Let's take a look here. Kennedy out of the corner. Everything looks okay. Under braking. Seems fine. Comes off, and there she goes. We've seen that before. This is the slow slide. Easy to do, Baron.
Yeah, and that can happen, right? He's getting used to his car. Hopefully not a lot of damage. We'll see him make his way to the front. He's had solid runs lately, so a little patience and a little bit of fixing here in the pits, and he should be good to go.
So super interesting there that Cole able to beat Tripp, and we're gonna see now what lane does he choose. I wonder if we can get a replay on that. Actually, let's see if we can get a quick replay on how he got that lead. Here we go. Cole coming in. I think maybe Tripp had a miss. Yes, Tripp got loose up the track with the correction, gave up the bottom. Cole underneath, dives in hard too. Great job by the 10. Crossover attempt, no good. So that's how your lead switch happened, Baron. And one little slip up, that's all it takes.
Yep, quick hands. We talked about it, Dean. You know, as these tires go through their cycles, the car's going to feel plowing tight in one end and cranking loose at the other. And, you know, you got to have quick hands and adjustments, right? When we do make a pit, we got to make the right adjustment to help give the car what it needs.
Yeah, and you've seen, you know, Tripp showed some quick hands. He saved that car, but you can't always save the spot that you might lose. But good job of him of keeping that car underneath him.
Agreed. And Brian Cole in a very familiar position leading this field with a lot of hungry hounds behind him. Let's see how Austin Miller fares as he takes green as well. So he and Austin famously part of some great battles here. And we'll see what happens here later on these laps.
Somehow Kennedy on the pit road, not sure what's going on with Kennedy, and they're still not going green as they try and sort it out. Kennedy now getting service. So this is interesting. You know, if this could be his only pit stop, Baron, this could play well for Colin.
12 of 150. Yeah, 12 of 150, and he finds himself a lap down now. So, I can't predict it, Dean. Hard to tell what he's doing.
Looks like he's at 2 down now on the tickers. So, yeah, that's a problem. But still, if he can do well, doesn't have to pit, and they pit under green. But that's a lot to ask here. I think we'll have a few more cautions at a place like Hickory. Ready to go back, green flag racing. Colin Tripp, Eddie.
Almost stacked up on the high side now. Somebody hit the brakes up top, and now we've got some damaged cars in the back.
That looks like Adam Cole back there.
Yeah, they stacked up for some reason on the high side, and the flag went, so they're off.
They're off, and we're back to green flag racing here. And it looks like everybody up front getting lined out. It's Newton battling with Bill Dart. Up the track, Newton goes. Can't quite get there. He's going to fall in line here.
Yeah, and some of these cars losing massive positions on that restart due to that stack up on the high side. Can't tell you what happened there. It looked like it happened from the front row.
Could it even be as simple as missing a gear? I know these cars, you know, you go through those gears awfully quick, easy to miss one.
True. And here we see a familiar sight with Bill Cole being paced by Keaton Tripp. We'll see how this plays out. I love watching these battles, but Matt Eddy, newcomer to the league, not letting him go.
No, Eddie's going to hang in there, as is Miller. We know Miller is kind of a late comer usually, and we'll watch out for him. Don't sleep on Turmeyer either. Now, Turmeyer's big thing is he's had speed all season, but can he put it all together? I mean, he looks rather comfortable here tonight. Could this be his night?
Well, he's sat on the pole in a few events, and to your point, has ran really well early in the races, and then somehow something has snake bit Marvin as he's gotten into the middle and the latter part of the races and finds himself a lap down or with a damaged vehicle. Clean race is what we're hoping for Marvin tonight, because I got a feeling this car's set up to be in the top 5 or even the top 3.
Well, you know, I'm already noticing something you talk about a lot with the 42 and Miller. Miller rolling that center of the corner as he rolled right up on Eddie there a couple of corners ago. And once he gets that thing rolling the center as he does, man, oh man, can he be good.
Yeah, and we've seen it happen time and time again with Austin. He and his team have really got that car rolling the centers well, and we've seen it where the driver in front of him can't maintain that pace, and he'll actually get into the back of him in the center of the turn while he's going from brake to gas here, and hopefully Matt Ennie just kind of sees the handwriting on the wall, lets him go, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those tricky things when you are so good in the middle of the corner like that. You have to, as Newton gets under dirt here, you have to really set it up, and it's hard because you're good in the middle. And we look
got a caution.
Not sure. There we go. Looks like it was Miller. I thought something happened up front there.
Yep. I'm wondering if he didn't get some help. Let's take a look at it.
All right, here you go. He was pressuring. We had just left. Marvin Turmeyer behind, awful close. Oh, and it just broke loose, or a little bit of net code there because there was no contact.
It looks like he got all 4 on the apron, and there's no banking down there, so he may have just got into it a little too deep and got it loose there.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. A little too much on the apron, and she just come around on him.
Yep, matter of inches, right, Dean?
Don't start with the inches. I know where you'll go. Cole, your leader. Tripp second. Edie in third. Turmeyer Jr., Newton, Bill Dart, Jeff Werderman, Cole, Lemieux now in ninth. He's up 5 spots. And Pearson, your top 10 drivers.
So lap 27 of 150 at the Hall of Fame 150 here at Hickory Speedway. These guys are really putting on a nice show up front, though. I really like what Brian Cole and Keaton Tripp bring to the table week in and week out. With newcomer Matt Eddy, I got a feeling we're shaping up for a pretty nice race here.
Yeah, and the interesting part about it is you have the dynamic of much different drivers, right? Cole is your points leader, consistent finisher, smooth. You know, Tripp is electric. He's so good, so fast, but he's going to pressure for every spot. He's going to take him whenever he can get him, right? And then you got Eddie, kind of a newcomer, not so sure. Newton's up there, but the other guy that was up there was Austin Miller, Mr. Excitement. So they're varying different styles, but they all end up in the same spot.
Yeah, and look, here's that 5 car we talked about. He's back in the mix. Let's see what he can do with his top 5 start here.
Cole, a good launch. Tripp still looking and trying, but he's going to feed right in line here. You're right, Newton up to 4. Something has happened. We didn't see anything going on.
Well, we got one
Looks
on his
like
lid.
Stephen M. Something's happened to him. Let's get a quick look in on a replay.
I wonder how he got on his lid there.
Well, these restarts can be tricky, and we see him here on the high side. Kennedy comes underneath. I think he's just trying to let people go here, and he grabs a wall into the tires. Wow. That was trying to let people on the low side, and perhaps did not realize what was in store for him up high there, because those tires can creep up on you, and that sent him for a loop. Someone go check on him. I'm not sure he's okay.
Yeah, call his parents, because that was a hard hit. I mean, you rarely see him get up in the air like that.
My goodness, the way the track opens up there is reminiscent of back when Waltrip, if you remember him hitting that gate, and it tore his car to shreds.
Yeah,
Walked
Bristol,
away
yeah.
from that. My goodness,
Yeah.
that was incredible.
Wow, hard hit by Stephen M. That car is going to need some attention. That's an amazing. I'm glad there wasn't anybody alive in that vehicle.
Absolutely. A little easier to survive when you're sitting at home with maybe a cold one in your lap, but nonetheless, he's going to pay the price. And Kennedy, Kennedy's back here in 13th now. Now, have we cursed him? He's back on the lead lap now. Is he good to go?
Well, it appears at least he's...
Whenever we call out a driver, Baron, it's the old broadcaster's curse.
Yeah, it appears he's got himself back to where he needs to be. He's definitely got fresh tires.
It was just a minute ago. I thought he was 2 laps down. Here he is, all back on the lead lap. So that's how quick your fortunes can change here.
Yeah, it looks like Austin Miller's found himself back on the lead lap now too, huh?
Austin Miller getting a wave around, so he'll be on the lead lap. So that's good. Lucky dog, I would suppose. And the laps tick away here, even under caution. We're already on lap 35 of 150.
And we've seen this out of Austin Miller. Gosh, I hate to say it, but every week it seems like he goes a lap or 2 down, comes back and puts himself in the top 2.
Every There we go, Cole, another good launch. Tripp files into second. The battle with Newton and Dart again. Oh, almost contact. Dart has to check up there. That's going to allow Newton to go up to fourth, or at least maintain fourth. Behind him, battles back around Mike Lemieux. A little bit back from that, it looks like Barry Hines and Travis Dart down on the low side. Oh, Turmeyer's into him. Kennedy's into him. Dart off the track. Looks like everything's going to continue to go.
Keep it under green, yeah. Good job, boys.
And Marvin, being a nice guy, he's saying, that's my fault, you go ahead. So good job by the league owner of Marvin Turmeyer, just saying, hey, I made a mistake, you go ahead.
Well, now they got another problem, though, Dean, because here comes the leader. So just after that restart, as quick as they got started there, Brian Cole is in his rearview mirror. They're really going to have to pick up the pace if they want to stay on that lead lap.
They are. I mean, let's look in on those lap times, and you can, if it'll show it here. Sorry, I had the wrong thing I was clicking on, but there you go. A 14-second lap around here, Baron, is not very long at all. So, yeah, you don't want to be wasting time too much, even though it's a nice thing to do to let the guy back. My goodness, these guys will lap you in a hurry.
Yeah, they sure will. Now, the speeds aren't as high as Bristol, so a 14-second lap, don't confuse this with Bristol. They're running similar times there, but a little flatter track here than Bristol, so 14 seconds is fast, and they're going to certainly have to pay attention as we carry on through these laps now.
Up on board with Keaton Tripp here. And the onboard, it's such a constant turn track. You never really get a great visual from this camera here. Maybe we'll see if we get like the roll bar, a little better view here out the windshield.
Sure, and you can see just how these cars are undulating as they go over those bumps. Look how quick his hands are moving on that wheel. It's very, very bumpy track, and you can see out front as Brian Cole's car is hopping around a little bit. He's got his own hands full in the cockpit. It's really cool to see how these guys are really sawing on that wheel to keep the lines right.
Wow, you say cool to see. I'm getting seasick. This looks like some heavy work in there, Baron.
Yeah, it sure is, and really, it's really cool to see. I think it's exciting stuff. I love this short track stuff, but these guys are really sawing at those wheels, and you can see the lap cars up in front of Brian Cole right now. They better get on the move.
They best get going. Great battle here. Two great drivers, and that visual was very good there to see what they're dealing with. Outside the car, it looks pretty calm. You don't really understand what these guys are going through. And just because they're sim racers, folks, don't think they're not experiencing this. They are. That wheel's vibrating all over the place. Guys who got the things on their chair are bouncing all over the place. These things can be tough to handle.
Yeah, they sure can. And speaking of tough to handle, Keaton Tripp is really laying the pressure on thick right now.
Is he ever? I mean, you take a little overhead shot here, and he's doing what Keaton Tripp does. He doesn't know any other way but go forward. He's going to press you each lap, lap in, lap out. And I got to tell you, it works, Baron. To irritate someone, you almost want to let him go just to get him off your bumper.
Yeah, and he's really going in later in that turn than Brian Cole, so that when he comes off, he's getting a better run out the turn. So you see how he's come in high, he's getting low, he's on the gas sooner, and boy, he really pulls up to the back bumper of that 10 car.
Well, he's also, this is an old trick too, to fill the mirror. You come in high and you get on one side of the mirror, and then when you come out low, you get on the other side. So in the guy in front of you, he's looking in his rear view mirror, all he's seen is his car going back and forth, and it's really quite distracting.
Yeah, and Brian Cole doing a great job of protecting that low line. He's got lap traffic in front of him, Dean. Don't be surprised if we don't see a lead change here.
Yeah, there could be, but I mean, Cole, the ultimate professional, he's not going to let these things get to him. He's going to race his line. He probably he's not even put a little, cover over his mirror. He don't even want to see it.
No, he doesn't. And, here we're about to call the cops because this is pure harassment. I mean, Keaton Tripp is really laying the heat on.
Man, this is amazing stuff here. Doing a great job as they come on. And Travis Dart right in front of him, almost contact there as Tripp continues to harass.
first and second place, putting on a hell of a show here. And we got to go all the way back almost 2 seconds to see third place now with Matt Eddy. Just goes to show you, we've got comers and goers in this race, and it looks like Brian Cole and Keaton Tripp got what is needed to get around this track tonight.
Yeah, you see that we're back to Newton Eddy right in front of them. So, and we'll apologize. We'll call you Edie and Eddie. We're going to mix it up probably, and we'll have to get with you on that name to make sure we get it right. But one thing we do know is a heck of a driver, Matt Eddy, right now, looking really good.
Sure, we'll just call him the 88. He's having a solid run tonight.
And again, almost contact. Tripp really pressing the issue here.
Yeah, so both starts now go a lap down. Colin Kennedy's next as Brian Cole holds off Keaton Tripp for that first place spot.
Yeah, Colin Kennedy, he got 2 laps back, I believe, if I have that correct, and now in danger of losing one again. He has no interest in it. He's looking pretty good trying to keep them behind him.
Yeah, hard track to get around, but now you got the added pressure of the leader breathing down your neck to put you a lap down. And we know Brian Cole's not going to let up because he's got that guy behind him there in that 26 car, Keaton Tripp. He cannot wait.
Well, it's a classy move from Kennedy to give him room there and let these guys go. Probably didn't want to let Dart go. That was for a position, but that's the problem with letting people go. You often get freight trained. Yeah,
and Travis Dart, really just trying to stay as that lucky dog if we get another caution.
As this battle cools down momentarily, let's look back in. There is Eddy back in third. You got Newton in fourth. Adam Cole up 8 spots on the evening into 5th place. Mike Lemieux, newcomer, first race here. He's up 8 spots. He's in 6th. Got Jeff Werderman all over the back end of him here. Austin Miller trying to work his way back into this thing, now needing a caution back in 8th position. He's regained some, but he's got a long way to go. Barry Hines in 9th. Turmeyer trying to regain his, his rhythm out here and stay in this thing. He's in 10th. Pearson back in 11th. Travis Dart 12th, and Colin Kennedy. And you can see our leaders have already gone by. So there we go. Brian Cole, leader, coming up now on Bruce Pearson, and they're going to put Pearson a lap down.
Yeah, Pearson just saying, go on, fellas. I ain't got what it takes to match your speed tonight, so I'm just going to get out the way and keep running my rate.
This battle is raging on, and these guys putting together a nice green flag run as I'm still tongue-tied here in the booth. But here comes Tripp again. I mean, I think it's pretty clear at this point Tripp is a hair faster, but a hair faster isn't enough to pass here at Hickory.
Right, and Brian is doing exactly what Brian needs to do. He's staying in his line, he's managing his race, and he's hoping that Keaton Tripp falls off at some point. Right now it doesn't have any signs of letting up. Keaton Tripp is there for the duration.
He's there. He's not going anywhere, barring a spin or any problem like that. He's definitely not going anywhere. And these guys, you can just see, they've already put Travis Dart and Colin Kennedy well in their mirror, so they're continuing. You look ahead, there's Barry Hines next on the hit list, and Turmeyer right there as well. So Hines and Turmeyer under heat from our leaders.
And these are fast cars, Dean. I mean, these guys had speed under qualifying. These cars are set up, and it's just amazing the difference that the 18 and the 26 are just really motoring down these drivers. It's incredible to see.
It is super incredible. I mean, these guys just really work this track out, and we see it week in and week out with these two. I mean, they're just that good. So Cole in the 10, continuing to lead this thing, work his way through as we're at the halfway marker, and it's Cole, Tripp, and Eddy still your front 3.
Yeah, great racing between these two, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Austin Miller rebounds from his spin. He's climbing through the field now, got himself into 8th place again, still on the lead lap, but he is not too far ahead of these leaders right now as Barry Hines and Marvin Turmeyer got an eyeful in their rearview mirrors of the leaders.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, if you're Hines now, What is your thought as they come in? I mean, you're talking about a top 10 spot now. I know it's nice to move over for the leaders and everything, but how much do you want to try to fight to stay on the lead lap and hope for a caution here?
Well, you fight with everything you got, Dean, right? Because if you fall that lap down, as these laps tick down, there goes your chances of getting into the podium position. So we are maybe just an adjustment away from a fast car being a really fast car, and these drivers know it.
Here they come. Tripp, getting right in there, because one thing a guy like Tripp, or any good driver in second place, they're going to sniff out these chances when these lap cars come up. There's not really an opportunity. Like you can see here, Hines is going to move up the track, but you want to be there just in case there is,
Ooh, that was close. Hines tried to let him go, but he almost got to the door of the 10 car. So
it's a quirky corner, isn't it?
Yeah,
it looks
sure
like
is.
It's got about 5 different folds in it.
Yeah, and we saw what happened to Stephen M. when he couldn't figure that out. So, yeah, that was lucky break for the 10.
Those tires will sneak up on you. Watch out, folks. So that puts Barry Hines, 10th place driver, a lap down. Next up is going to be Marvin Turmeyer as these guys continue this torrid pace around Hickory.
Yeah, and I know all these other drivers, like, if I could only get to the pits and make that stop, if I could only make this adjustment, might be able to stay on that lead lap. I know Marvin Turmeyer, classy driver, he's going to do what he can to stay on that lead lap, but I think once they get too close, he might let him go. But what do you do if you're Matt in the 88? Excuse me, Matt in the 88. That's what we're going to do.
Well, we just look back there. You can see the distance, and I think with Eddie, I mean, at this point, you're just trying to be as smooth as humanly possible and hoping that maybe, just maybe, they're burning them up at a higher rate. I don't know. Maybe try and play a fuel mileage game. Maybe. I mean, only 150 laps here at Hickory. I'm thinking everybody can make it without stopping.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that happen here now. Now Jeff Werdemann, our second place driver, he's in 6th place right now, and he's really been a consistent driver this season. Dean, love seeing what Jeff does week in and week out, and if Cole and Tripp get into each other, there's a driver that can find himself in the top 3.
Yeah, and he's doing here exactly what he needs to do. He needs to be passing people and putting cars between him and those leaders. Even though he's up in 6th, he is, as these laps tick away, he doesn't want to see those leaders come up on his bumper.
No, and he's doing, like you said, he's doing exactly right. So now he's got a buffer between him and the 3 car and those leaders. Adam Cole is next on his hit list, and he's got vision of him. So, maybe he'll go up there and make a pass, find himself in the top 5.
Look back in on our leaders as they approach Marvin Turmeyer. Now Turmeyer a little stingier here. He's trying to desperately to stay on the lead lap. He's giving up the bottom, though. Not quite, as he closes the door on Cole. So the question here is, what does Tripp do? And I think he might try to slide to the high side here.
Well, we'll see. If Keaton is if Keaton does what Keaton's been doing, the minute there's an opportunity, he's going to pounce, and the 10 car is going to find himself in 2nd place.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's me, I'd be working that high side. I know it's slower, but if Turmeyer is holding you up, maybe you can get up there and box in the 10 and make your way on by. It seems like the only opportunity to me.
Yeah, and Turmeyer, doing what he should do. His crew chief's telling him, like, don't let him by. You're the dog. You're the dog. But eventually, Brian Cole's going to have enough of that car being in front of him. With the pressure he's getting from Keaton Tripp, I know they're not allowed to bump each other, but there might be a little bit of, dive bombing or some sort of a different line, if you will, taken.
Well, I got to tell you, too, if you go to Tripp and we look in on the distance back, let's see the time delta here, back to Eddie, and you can see there was, I believe it's gone down, yeah, from lap 89 to lap 95, it is now a 3-second gap. There was a big change, and then it pretty much leveled off from there. But this is only helping Eddie. Like when I look on our scoring, I'm seeing him pick up just hundreds of a second every lap that these guys are behind Turmeyer.
Yeah, so you see what just happened there, too. Turmeyer slid up a little bit. The 10 car had his nose under him, but he couldn't finish the pass, Dean. So like you said before, catching him and passing him are two different things. As the 10 car uses up the left side of that Turmeyer vehicle.
Yeah, you got to muscle around. I mean, Turmeyer's passed at this point, and there he goes. He should let up after getting that nose under him, and he did. Now it's Colin Tripp, and this is gonna. You watch that little relative we have between Tripp and Eddie, who's back in third position. It's going to start to go the other way again. He worked it down to 2.6, and bam, there you go. See, 2.7. As soon as they get clean track, they are the two fastest cars.
Yeah, and Turmeyer doing what he's supposed to do. I don't want to put any shade on Marvin. He's supposed to keep his car in the lead lap. It's up for the leaders to make the pass and to do it cleanly. But we saw so much pressure being laid on the leader there that the minute he got his nose under there, well, they had to make their own hole now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me it's about, you hold them off for a bit, right? 5-10 laps, and then at some point you have to concede. Well, you don't have to. That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with not conceding, but you might as well. I mean, you're not going to hold them off forever. And my thing is, it's better to finish a race and end up in the wall, and that's where Cole will send you if you don't relinquish it at some point.
Yeah, and Brian Cole, classy driver, got the nose in there and gave Marvin an opportunity to move up the track, and just kind of found his own way.
You see that Delta now to 3.9 as it's escalating in a hurry. So Eddie now losing time, and actually we've had a change. What has happened to Matt Eddy on the track? He is in the garage. Newton now up. We've got to see what happened to Matt Eddy.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
See if this is the correct spot to look at here. You see the 5, Eddie up in front of him here all alone. So this has to be the green car up ahead. Something that he's done by himself. Oh, and he blinked out. Oh, tragedy. No. Home, the connection issue with the internet. He just left the building. The connection has failed him. And that is tragedy.
Oh, you hate that for the 88 because he had such a good run going, and now software is taking him out of the race. That's a shame, team.
We often talk about what a real life driver faces and the problems that maybe a sim racer doesn't. Well, here's one the other way around. These connection issues and these hardware concerns or even lightning strikes in your area can ruin your race.
Yeah, that's too bad for the 88 tonight. Matt had a good run going. Hey, benefit to Adam Newton. Finds himself in third place right now and driving well, but don't look now. Here comes Adam Cole in that 83.
Adam Cole putting on a nice night. Newton putting together maybe his third or fourth really good race here, so in a row. And this is great for the 5. But Cole, someone you've been on all year long, he's very consistent, and he is showing well here tonight. I think he's running down Adam Newton.
Yeah, and, I guess that's the name of the game, right? If you want to win a championship, you got to be in it to win it, and that's every week finishing. So Adam Cole doing a great job tonight here in the top 5. Adam Werdemann, thanks to the 88 disconnect, finds himself in the top 5 now, up 6 positions. So Adam benefiting from Matt having some software issues here.
Yeah, Jeff Werdemann in the 81, now up 6 spots on the night, looking good. Austin Miller has run him down, so Miller making his way, and although Miller is about 9+ seconds off the lead, he is running time similar to the leaders. Just that early incident really cost him here tonight.
Yeah, same song, second verse, right? Austin Miller finding himself deep in the field and racing for his life, and then we look up at the end of the race and he's in the mix every week.
Every week. That's why we call him Mr. Excitement. He didn't like to do it the easy way. Miller trying to fight his way back. Look for him to make a move here shortly on Werdemann.
Yeah, he plays it on hard mode every week. So here we go. He's got a look underneath it, finds himself in a wall just as we're talking about it. The broadcaster's curse again.
Well, he's pushing that thing. He might be overdriving slightly at this point. He knows time is running out. Travis Start vacates. He's on pit road. Unscheduled stop? I'm not sure.
Well, at lap 117 and 150, these guys, if they can make it now, they've made their bed, and now they got to lie in it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
laps are...
Keaton Tripp's found himself a way around Brian Cole. We missed it, Dean.
What's going on here? Every time we move somewhere, something else happens. Keaton Tripp, let's get a look on a replay and see how this happened. I think we'll back that up a little bit, as it looked like he just got there. Tripp with a big run out of the corner here, powers down, a little wiggle from the 10, and that opens the door just enough. Tripp fills it. He likes that opening. Bam, gets a good run off, as the 10 seems to be struggling off the corner just ever slightly. Oh, and then there's contact. Contact pushes him up the track, and there you go. Keaton Tripp to the lead.
It looked almost like a little bit of netcode there, Dean, didn't it? Like the way that car jumped?
I'm not sure, but, you know, it looked like a racing deal to me. I didn't see that it was netcode or not, but irregardless, there probably would have been contact even if it wasn't netcode. But those guys both racing for the same spot. You know, good drivers, no harm, no foul. Well, there's harm, but there's, you know, I wouldn't call it a foul is what I'm getting at.
Sure. And here's something we kind of predicted too. Keaton Tripp has checked out. I mean, he has gotten around the 10 car, and he's got a comfortable lead now over second place.
Yeah, well, that spin, you know, slight spin, gave him about half this lead, but he's opened up the other half on his own. I mean, we've seen that Tripp was the faster car. It's just tough to pass. I don't know what anybody's going to do here. We're coming up on 25 to go. I mean, I guess 26 to go right now. So Keaton Tripp, short time at this track here. They burn off in a hurry. Eddie on pit road. Wow, as he comes back into the service. What a shame for him.
Yeah, solid run he had going. Hate to see it when software takes a guy out of a race.
Look back, there's Adam Newton back in third position. Doing a nice job. Adam Cole, Newton continues to keep that lead over Cole. It's Jeff Werderman in the 81 back in fifth with Austin Miller still there. Everything's status quo. You got to go a ways back to find Marvin Turmeyer in seventh position. It's Mike Lemieux out here on his debut in eighth. Colin Kennedy in ninth. You got Barry Hines in 10th position. Bruce Pearson's out here in the 22 and 11th. Travis Dart and Eddie, Bill Dart, and Stephen M have all retired or had some big problems.
Yeah, and Keaton Tripp now out to a 2-second lead over Brian Cole. We knew he had a fast car tonight, Dean. We weren't prepared for this, were we?
No, man, oh man, he's opening it up in a hurry. I don't even know where he is on the track. Let's look back to Cole. You see there, that's quite a big jump he's made already.
Yeah, Keaton out here playing chess, and everybody else is playing checkers tonight. Great to see Keaton out here leading, but my goodness, he's absolutely going to stink up the show if he keeps putting them down like that.
So a little message from YouTube there. Apparently, it's Roll has had Alan Roll. His computer did one of those. If you've ever been on iRacing, you may or may not have experienced that when it will not load up the game, and where it loads up extremely slow. It took him about 25 minutes, unable to join the server in time. So another computer failure there, and that's a shame for him.
Yeah, Adam, a solid racer, but it's too bad that he couldn't join the field tonight. And love to see the interaction from YouTube as they're watching Wind Tunnel TV tonight. It's great to see the viewers interact with each other, type messages, cheer on their drivers. It's awesome to see the community come together each race.
Yeah, it really is. There's Cole in second. Newton actually closing in now, so Cole's struggling a little bit. And Newton's got his work cut out. He's got Turmeyer in front of him. Hines on the high side. I think they'll get by Hines, but Turmeyer, we'll see if Turmeyer lets him go.
Well, it's not for the dog anymore, so Turmeyer's on that high side, and the 5 car finds his way underneath him, and we hope the spotter goes clear, and let's go out there and get that 10 car.
You know, that's a great point, Baron. I mean, he raced when there was something to race for, and he let a guy go when there's nothing to race for. That's good driving right there.
Agreed, and that's the racecraft we talk about every week, and love to see it here with these drivers here in the Raid Superstock Series. You like to see it in every sim racer you've got too.
So another good race by these guys. A lot of green flag racing out here, Baron. These guys in the Super Late Series, this Furniture Mart Super Series, they seem to have really figured it out here lately.
Yeah, and 12 laps to go, and this is all Keaton Tripp right now, Dean. He came to race tonight.
He always comes to races, no doubt about it. Keaton Tripp is on his game, now up about over 2.5 seconds over Brian Cole, the 26, coming down to 10 to go here at Hickory. I mean, he's just putting on a show at this point. I think it's borderline showing off now.
Right. He's just out there bragging.
That's it. And, this is what you do, though. And, the one thing you don't want to do if you're a leader like this is slow down. You're in a rhythm. You just stay in that rhythm. You just hit those marks and drive.
Couldn't agree more, Dean. That's a great observation. Yeah. People might be thinking he's out there doing what he needs to do. But honestly, what he's doing is staying in that rhythm. You hear it in your headset. You feel it in your wheel. Your visual cue points are never changing, and so he's just putting laps down, and he's probably on cruise control at this point.
I mean, if you've ever, I know you, Baron, were a very great iRacer when you were up and doing it all the time, and I'm sure you've experienced hey, I've got a lead, why don't I just back her down a bit here? And that's as sure as can be, you're going to make a mistake.
That's when trouble starts, Dean. You're absolutely correct. You start coming off your cues, you start coming off of your turn points and your braking points, and then suddenly you find yourself in trouble, and next thing you know, the guy in your rearview mirror gets bigger.
Yep. It almost happens every time. It's a lesson everybody has to learn, but one that Keaton Tripp, at the young age that he is, has learned or maybe not even learned, just naturally comes to these youngsters with talent. I'm just going to drive, I'm not thinking about ever managing this or that. I'm going forward only.
Yeah, and every new iRacer needs to learn that's something to be considered with each race that you start.
So Keaton Tripp here leading this thing. Brian Cole in second. Newton actually catching him. Adam Newton continues to impress here lately. The 5 machine in third position. Adam Cole, another solid night, running that K/T.org machine, our qualifying sponsors. The 83, another good night. Miller worked his way back up to 5th now. The 42 doing all he can to salvage this night. Jeff Werdemann in 6th. Marvin Turmeyer in 7th, but it's Keaton Tripp out front on his final turns here at Hickory. He's going to come down into 3. He's going to touch the wall one last time just for fun. And Tripp going to be your race winner here in the Hall of Fame 150 at Hickory.
Yeah, had to leave a little souvenir on the wall for the crowd, right?
A little sparks, throwing little sparks up for excitement there. You see all of our finishers coming on through there. Turmeyer back in 7th. Mike Lemieux in 8th in his debut. Colin Kennedy, Bruce Pearson, Hines in 11th, Edie in 12th, and a few others who are off the track as Keaton Tripp rolls up on the checkered flags and calls it a day already. But what a night. What a performance, man. I was more impressed with his hounding than maybe his leading.
Sure. You got to figure that he was sitting inside the cockpit knowing I got him. And now all I got to do is wait on him to make a mistake and then do exactly what he did, drive off.
And drive off he did. We've seen it before. Tripp's been great this season. Picks up another victory. Right now, let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll get some interviews, including... welcome back to Hickory and the Hall of Fame 150, where Keaton Tripp put on a show. A great race here, a lot of green flag action. Him and Brian Cole going at a little contact at one point, and Tripp comes out on top, Baron.
He sure does, and we can add his name to the list of winners here at Hickory. Historic track, lots of drivers who cut their teeth out here love to get wins at Hickory. They go back and visit it again in various late models or Legends cars. You'll see a lot of NASCAR drivers week in and week out on their off weeks at Hickory, cutting their teeth and having a good time. And we saw Keaton Tripp do that tonight.
We did, and we've seen lots of action out on the track, including the 81 of Jeff Werdemann joins us here in the booth. Gains 5 spots on the evening, ends up in 6th place. A solid race here this evening, Jeff. Congratulations on 6. Tell us a little bit about your race there, in particular, trying to hold off Miller at the end.
Yeah, I was trying to do my best Ryan Newman imitation there, and he got into me one time and let me save it. About 2 laps later, we just made a little bit of contact, chased me up the hill, and he got by. Based on how practice went before I got in the room and then how practice went tonight, being the last car on the lead lap and 6th, I will take it.
Yeah, man. I mean, Miller's tough. We all know that. And I thought you did a great job. I love the reference there to the Newman. But, this is what Hickory is, right? You got to find a way around me. And the way around is, I don't know, go lower than low or get a little bump or wait for some help and a mistake. And he was trying. He was being pretty patient back there and trying to look for a mistake. You weren't making any, Jeff. Really solid run out here. Just talk a little bit about what your thoughts were leading up to this race. Did you get what you could tonight? Were you hoping for more? What were your thoughts coming in?
Well, I knew that there was no need to pit whatsoever. Tires the last here at Hickory, especially at night, and there was no need for fuel. So I was planning on doing a no stop. My qualifying lap though was just terrible. Where I was practicing at, I should have probably been 7th, 6th, somewhere in there. Instead, I roll off 11th. So I had to burn up the right front just a little too much just to get myself into the top 5 vicinity. And at that point, I tried to cool and run hard for about 10 laps, let it cool for 10 laps, hard for 10 laps. And at the end, I just didn't have a right front tire. And again, like I said, I'll take a 6th. I love this track because this is one of those tracks where you don't have to run the exact same line. You can be creative, especially in turns 1 and 2. You can run a slightly different line and still get the same effect. And when your car is a little tight, you can change your line a little bit.
I mean, I love the word creative because, I look at the guy who designed this track and I think he was creative. He might have been a little tipsy when he did it because those corners, there's some odd little gyrations around there. I don't know. It looks like about 4 different corners in one. So it is quite tricky around there. Just talk a little bit about it, Jeff. How tricky? I mean, it's bumpy as all get up. The corner seems to go one way, then another a little bit, and a very, very awkward track, but a fun track.
Yeah, 3 and 4 is pretty normal-esque, but 1 and 2, it looks like somebody took a sledgehammer and beat it right in the middle of turns 1 and 2 and pushed it way out. And then coming off of 2, it looks like somebody sledgehammered it to tighten it up, so it's almost like a decreasing radius over there. It's almost like you said, 4 corners over there. But I think with the banking and the bumps, that's what makes this track fun.
It is fun, and we had a lot of fun watching you and this race in general here this evening. We look forward now. We go to Lanier. Twins again. Those are always exciting. Invert the field and the whole bit. That should be a lot of fun. How are you feeling about that?
Well, the Twins was actually my idea to give to Marv as something a little different, a little creative. And fortunately, with my schedule, I won't be on the road, so I should be able to do that. I really look forward to the Twins. Unfortunately, I don't look forward to them at Lanier. So we'll see how that all plays out. Sometimes, I guess, you just got to forget where you're at and then just go for the best.
Yeah, you definitely do, and you went for the best tonight. You got the best out of your starting position. A heck of a race. We really look forward to seeing you again next week, Jeff, at Lanier in those Twins, man. So congrats on a solid evening this evening. And you got any shout-outs? Anybody you want to thank? Now's the time.
Well, thank you, guys. The Gunslinger Whiskey, BF Hammers, RaceXR.com, Ford Mustang, and the team did the best we could, and this is for Pops.
All right, Baron, you heard him. He did it for Pops, and he did a whale of a job. And I think we all know a little bit about that, so we certainly concur and glad he did that for him. Baron, that was Jeff Werderman, 6th place tonight.
Yeah, great to see Jeff with a solid finish tonight. With heavy hearts, he's going to race the rest of the season, and great to see him out there turning laps with all the rest of the boys. But I have your 3rd place finisher with me now. Adam Newton has joined us here in the booth. And Adam, boy, it looks like you had your hands full all night long. Can you tell me a little bit what was going on with the car and how it progressed throughout the evening?
Yeah, it was a unique setup for sure. It was a little bit loose, a little bit tight. I was just trying to save tires to the end and try to make a run on those guys. That's what my strategy was, but I saved it a little too much too late.
Well, we saw you closing in on the 10 car in the later laps. Do you have anything for him if we got a caution?
Yeah. I was good on tire wear. I was actually really shocked when I checked after the end of the race. I think I would have had a good car for a good battle at the end, I hope. But
Yeah, so Adam, during the pre-race, Dean and I were talking. It seems like it's been a season of feast or famine with you. If you weren't wrecked and in the wall at some point, you were up front. What has happened to you lately there? You've really come on. What are you putting together that makes you so much more consistent later on in this season?
well, I will tell you the honest truth. It's the guy in the booth with you. He gave me a pep talk, and it is paying off. And he told me to build my confidence, and that's exactly what I have done. And practice. And I give Dean a shout out for that. He is a stand-up guy for giving advice.
Wow. Well, my heart, man, I appreciate that, Adam. Throw it back to Baron, but I just wanted to say I appreciate the shout out.
Great to hear because iRacers take care of iRacers. Glad to see that's working out for you, Adam. Adam, amazing 3rd place finish tonight. We're really happy to see you up here in the booth. You got anybody you want to thank other than Dean?
Yeah, I want to thank Marvin, Furniture Mart, KT.org, Mama June's Relish. She's a sponsor of mine. Lee Pulliam Racing. Thank God again for another good finish, and hope we can continue on the next week.
So we're bringing you back for the Twins at Lanier next week. What do you think you got going for them next week?
I'm optimistic. I like that track. If I can do like I did tonight, I'll be tickled to death. Just need a good top 3, top 4 run.
Keep it running, Adam. We're pulling for you, buddy. Dean, Adam Newton, our 3rd place finisher here tonight at Hickory Speedway.
Well, got a shout out tonight. Feeling a little special up here in the booth, but love Adam. Love to see he's doing good. But I'm down here with tonight's race winner in the Hall of Fame 150, Mr. Keaton Tripp. Keaton, what a race, man. You and Cole were going at it. You're a little bit faster, perhaps, but getting around. Another story here at Hickory.
Yeah, I definitely, that getting around him there was tough for sure. I could not get a run on him.
We'll talk
that was
a little
good
bit,
enough.
Keaton, Brian is so solid, right? Virtually mistake free. I mean, how patient did you have to be? We're talking 70, 100 laps, basically, of patience waiting for just one hiccup.
I was very patient. I was just trying not to get into the back of him and wreck him, and then just kept on putting pressure on him, waiting for a mistake or something, and then he never made any mistakes, and then I just kept trying to get runs off of 2 and getting underneath him, and it just wasn't working, and then I finally got a run underneath of him to make an attempt to get on his inside, got on his inside, and then we went to, off of 2, we got into each other there, and I think it was just a racing deal. I think I was coming up, he was coming down, and we got into each other, and then I just pulled away from there, and it was a very fun race, that's for sure.
Yeah, great race, Keaton. It was fun to watch you, man. We were talking about it all evening long, just how good you are. And, you're growing as an iRacer, still a very young man. Tell us a little bit about when you were behind him. Were you doing anything to try and rattle his cage? Were you pulling out any of those crafty tricks that some of the vets may know? And I'm not sure at your age, I think you already know them.
Yeah, I was just trying to apply pressure without bumping into him and getting him loose and stuff. But the one time we got into each other because Marvin was racing hard to stay on the lead lap, and he kind of held him up there in the 3, and I wasn't expecting it, and tagged Cole a little bit, but got it straightened out, and I let him go, and then yeah, from there we just put the pressure on him. He never showed that he was under pressure, and I finally got that good run off of 2 and got underneath of him, and that's how I got the win pretty much.
Man, it was super impressive. We look forward now. We go to Lanier for the Twins. I'm having flashbacks, Keaton. Someone won both at the Twins last time. That was you in the 26, and it was quite a feat and really quite a show. What are you thinking? Can we repeat that feat again?
We're gonna try. that Twins that I won the last time was very, very hard to get. I don't know if I can do that again, and I don't know if Lanier has enough track so I can go lower than low again.
Lower than low, definitely you did in that one. It was a hard-fought second win coming from the back of the field. Can't wait to see you get out here and try and win the first one and then try and come from the rear in the second. Tall order on both of them, Keaton, but you're having a whale of a season, and missed a couple races. So tonight brings you back up in the points a little bit, but I'm sure you're thrilled just to have these victories, man. Big congrats again. And any shout outs you got to give, now's the time, man.
I want to shout you guys out for putting on the broadcast, and then the league for putting on these races, and mom and dad watching at home, and that's pretty much all I got.
All right, Baron, that was Keaton Tripp. Of course, shouting out the Furniture Mart Super Series and us here at Wind Tunnel TV. Tripp, and he is something special here. This young man's got a bright future, Baron.
Sure does, and I appreciate the racecraft he shared with us as he walked us through what he was thinking and how he was thinking during that battle with Brian Cole. Something that a lot of drivers can learn is the lessons Keaton Tripp was telling you here during that interview.
And we look in on the updated points here. You see Newton's moved up into second, Turmeyer into third, Stephen M into fourth, and Adam Cole up into fifth, but it's Brian Cole leading the way still. Chase Werderman, Kaufman, Pearson, Tripp. He stays back in ninth, but closed a big gap. He can make up some points next week. And Miller, with a bit of a tough night, hanging on in the top 10. I can't wait for next week, man. The Twins last time were a thrill, and I expect the same thing again, Baron.
Yeah, potential for a lot of point swapping as we got 2 points races on the docket for next week. So for those of you watching our Wind Tunnel TV broadcast, look for 2 races, 2 for 1 next week as the Raid Furniture Mart Super Series heads off to Lanier and puts on 2 great shows for the price of 1.
Absolutely, but from Hickory here, where Keaton Tripp was your winner, for myself, Dean Doucette, and for Mr. Baron Labosco up in the booth with me, that's going to wrap it up, and we'll see you right here next time on Wind Tunnel TV.